Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. My name is Saimah and welcome to Saimah's Experience. In this video, I'm going to share with you my secret formula for buying the right car for your Turo market at the right price. I have been doing this for 7+ years and I cannot tell you how many host friends I've seen that have lost tens of thousands of dollars because they bought the wrong car for the wrong market at the wrong price. I've literally have seen friends get their vehicles repossessed because they just couldn't keep up with the payments because the car wasn't performing. What most people don't know is that there is actually a formula that is going to help you choose the right car for your market at the right price. So grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to figure out what that first Turo car should be so that you make the right decision. And real quick, a big thank you to Fetch Truck Rentals for sponsoring today's video. More on that in a little bit. Now, we all experienced an absolute crazy 2021. The economy was booming and cost of goods and services were going up like crazy because there was so much demand. You probably saw all the headlines in the news where used car prices were through the roof, new car prices were being marked up by 20-30% above sticker price, and it was just absolutely nuts. Now, at the same time, a lot of people experienced making a lot of money, their businesses were booming, they were getting pay raises, and it was just a great time overall. But what that meant for Turo Host is that it made it extremely difficult to get into cars that financially made sense. And like I said, that fit that perfect formula that we have in deciding the right price for the right car in your market. So that led to a lot of people getting into cars that were overpriced, maybe didn't perform as well as they thought, and now they find themselves in trouble. But the good news is that things are finally starting to change. Now, a bunch of media sites who track this stuff like Manheim Auctions have been reporting for months now that used car prices are declining. And this is great news because we want those prices to come back to normal levels so that it becomes a good market for buyers to acquire vehicles that you can then list on Turo to turn a profit, because that is our goal. There is a fantastic article that was just published by Investor Place. Consulting firm Kpmg expects a notable dip in used car prices. They expect used car prices to drop by 20-30% sometime in the months after October 2022. Finally, Kelley Blue Book says that the second half of the year is starting to look better for car buyers, with inventory slowly beginning to recover, particularly in the used market. Now, I love this article because it sums up exactly what I've been seeing lately, that those prices are coming down. And so as Turo hosts, we should get ready to get back into the buyer's market. And personally, it's been a long time since I've been able to buy a car for that reason. So I'm excited to go ahead and start acquiring. Now, we want to figure out what is the best car for your market. How do you pick what that first car should be so that it's a home run and a winner for you? Well, in order to do that, you have to know how to do market research on the Turo platform and identify 4 major data points that is going to guide you towards making that right decision. Now, we need this information so we can plug it into our secret formula, which is going to reveal the best car that you should get at the right price. So I'm going to run you through step number 1, which is doing market research and identifying those data points. So let's get into it. Stick with me. We're going to move quickly, but you need this information in order to plug it into the formula. Otherwise, the formula is useless. So hang in there with me. All right, first step is open up your browser. You want to go to your browser and go ahead and go into what we call an incognito window, meaning this is private browsing. There's no stored history or search results from before because you want a true search. So we're going to go to Turo.com. So in case you've ever looked at it, and I'm going to pick a city that I'm not super familiar with. That way I give you a fresh-eyed perspective on market research. So let's go to Houston. We've had a lot of hosts in the Houston area saying that things have been going well for them. So I'm just going to select the general Houston area. Now, one thing you'll notice is that I'm going to push my search out by a couple months because I want the full inventory picture, meaning if we check it for right now, we're not going to see the cars that are booked, and that's important information. Rule number one, and very important for market research, is look for hosts who have the All-Star Host badge. So see right here where I'm hovering my mouse, it'll say right there, All-Star Host. Now, one of the things that I like to do is go to Filters, and the first option that's going to give you is to select All-Star Host. Now, this is going to really help us narrow down our search results so that we're looking at people who have a good reputation on the platform. Now, point number two, what I try to look for is cars that have quite a few trips on it. So we have a good trip history to extract exactly how busy a car is and how much demand there is for a vehicle. So typically I look for cars that have at least 30 plus trips. Now, if you're not super certain about what cars you have the buying power for, I'm going to post a link to NerdWallet down in the description below. It's a car affordability calculator, and that's going to show you exactly what type of car budget-wise you can afford, and then you can sort of narrow down your search results. So we're going to make the assumption that I'm me and I'm looking in kind of maybe the more luxury category. So what I'm looking for, All-Star Host, high number of trips, right? So what I want to do is right away, this BMW M Series 2022, day rate is $110, All-Star Host, 59 trips at a 5-star rating. What we're going to do is right click and open that car in a new window so that we can go ahead and take a look at that in just a second. This Tesla Model 3 also sounds like it would be a good fit for me, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up. So what you want to do is over time, and I'm going to say you want to give it a solid 60 to 90 days worth of research. Yes, I'm serious, 60 to 90 days, because it's a very important decision. You want to track the cars that are appealing to you so that you can see how they perform over time. Because of course, we are in a market that has seasons, it has ups and downs. And so you want to make sure that you can find averages of performance, right? In terms of the average day rate a car is going to get and the average number of days it gets utilized in a month. So two key points I just mentioned there, average day rate, average number of days it gets rented in a month, because we're going to need that information for our formula. So you're just going to look at this every couple of days, see which cars are popping up, see which cars are All-Star Host, which cars are raking in a high number of trips, which cars are getting booked. So for time's sake, I'm going to start going into some of these listings that are appealing to me and show you guys what I look at. Okay, so we see the car. The first thing I notice is the day rate, and you want to jot this down because you want to get a feel for how much per day this car goes for. Now, it looks like it's typically $130, but it's being discounted to $111 per day. Now, the next thing that you want to do is look at the reviews. Why reviews are so important is because it's going to tell you the frequency, for the most part, not 100% accurate, but frequency of how often a car gets rented. Now, I like to estimate that usually only 50% of people leave reviews, so we're seeing a partial picture of what is happening. So this car, for example, being rented on July 3rd, there's a review, June 26th, June 12th, June 6th, June 1st. So given that every car is rented out for typically at least a couple of days at a time, it's going to start helping you narrow down the amount of days that a car gets rented. So I like to literally go through every single review and get an idea of when a car was listed on the platform, because as you can see, all these reviews have a date on them. And then not only that, I like to read reviews about cars to see what that guest experience is, because that is so important. And in just a second, I'm going to get to the most important piece of data that you need to look at in order for you to utilize our formula, which is so important. So read through all the reviews, pick a car that has an all-star host and that has at least 20 to 30 trips, and that's going to give you a good starting foundation of how to start your market research. Now, the most important point, okay, is going and looking at the host calendar. Now, I selected September of 2022, but we are in July right now. So what I want to do is backdate the calendar to July. Now, you'll notice when you click into July, there's a bunch of days that are crossed off in the calendar. What does that tell us? That tells us how many days that car was booked. So top secret tip right here. When it's like the 29th or the 30th of a month, that's the perfect time to do this market research. Go in and see how the month performed and start jotting those numbers down. Is it 15 days? Is it 20 days? What was the average price point? You can hover over the days and see what this host has his car priced at. And this is going to give us an average price and an average number of days that the car gets rented. And we need this information for our formula. So this is a quick run through on how to do market research. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, I'm going to reveal that formula that is going to help you figure out if you're listing the right car at the right price. And that formula is coming right up after we talk about our friends over at Fetch Truck. Now, so many of you guys are often asking me about listing cargo vans and box trucks, high roof vans on the Turo platform, but as we know, you cannot do that on the Turo platform, which is why I want to give a big shout out to my sponsor for today's video, which is Fetch Truck Rentals. They are an amazing platform where you can list vehicles just like this and all other types of trucks. Fetch contactlessly connects vehicle owners with customers. Their telemetrics device enables renters to reserve, unlock, and start the vehicle all from their phone. I think that Fetch Truck Rental is the perfect addition to your rental portfolio. Vehicles on average earn $1,300 to $1,500 a month when they're listed full-time, and during peak season, that can go upwards of $1,800 to $2,400. Fetch partners retain 65% of the rental revenue, and Fetch provides marketing services, reservation management, and insurance coverage while the vehicle is being rented. What's really cool is that one of their partners out in Georgia started with one truck, and now he has over 13 vehicles, and in just 6 months, he's done $82,000 in revenue. So such a cool platform, one that you definitely want to check out. You can find the link down in my description below. And once again, that is fetchtruck.com. All right, we've done our market research and now we have the data points that we want to put into our formula. So let's take a look. Now, the first part is going to sound so simple and you just might be like, what are you talking about? This is obvious, right? But I swear to you, over 80% of the hosts that I talk to, they don't take this basic step of calculating this formula, which is your rental income minus your cost of doing business, which includes your car payment, your insurance. That gives you what your bottom line is, what your profit is. But most people just get so excited about getting a car and listing it on the platform that they don't do the math. So let's break this down based on everything that we've discovered from our market research. So the average day rate, now I'm gonna make the assumption that you've taken at least 60 to 90 days to track a car that you like, a listing that's performing well, and you got that average day rate number, meaning on average, at what price point does this vehicle get rented for? And now you see here in the brackets, I have times host cut. Now this I'm going to put a link to down in the description below. The host cut is basically your portion of the revenue. Turo offers multiple plans. For me personally, I'm on the 75% host cut, meaning I get 75% of whatever the day rate is. So if my day rate is $100, my take home is $75. Each plan has its pros and cons, so you really have to read through them to see which one makes the most sense for you. So in our example, I'll use 75% because that's what most hosts typically end up using. Now, once you get that number, right, because that's your real day rate that you're going to take home, your average day rate times your host cut, then you want to take that number and multiply that by the number of days that the vehicle is being rented on average. So again, you did that market research, you followed those listings and you saw that, hey, you know what? This car is on average being rented for at least 20 days out of the month. And that's going to allow us to figure out what our monthly rental income is. So that's that first part of the primary equation is we want to know what's our rental income. Now, what's most important is figuring out what is our cost of doing business. And that's where you want to use this third part of the formula. So that is going to be car payment plus insurance that is going to tell you what your estimated cost of doing business is. So car payment, so now that you've done your market research, you've identified certain cars that are going to do well. So naturally, you're going to go online and you're going to scour the web, right? Because there's tons of websites that are going to compile all the cars of your choice for you at all the different price points. Go on Edmunds, go on Kelley Blue Book, go on Car Gurus. There's so many of them. You're going to calculate your car payment. So if a car is on sale for $45,000, you can go to Google and just type in car payment calculator, and it's going to tell you exactly what your payment is going to be. Oftentimes on dealers' websites, they will have the calculator right there for you. If you're doing financing or leasing, you'll be able to see what that monthly payment looks like. Now, the same goes for insurance. Most of you already have insurance, so you more or less know what insurance cost is going to look like, but this really varies for everyone and every type of car. So all you have to do is go online and do a little basic research or call up an insurance company and find out what that insurance rate is going to look like, so you can break it down on a monthly basis. So your car payment plus insurance is going to give you your estimated cost of doing business. Now, the reason why I have an asterisk next to the word cost is because there are some variable monthly costs, such as car washes, accessories for your vehicle, little things here and there. Now that really varies for everyone, but often what I found in my experience is those additional little costs that you have on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, they're typically a very small percentage. So it doesn't really make or break what your total profit is going to be. It's still going to give you a very precise idea of what your income is going to be after expenses. And this is so important. So this is what you want to utilize given the data that we found through our market research. When you are listing that first car on Turo, it's important that you come out the gate strong and have it be a fruitful endeavor for you so you can continue to grow your fleet. And you don't want to end up in a position to where you're losing tens of thousands of dollars, or worse, get your vehicles repossessed. So do that market research for at least 60 to 90 days. Patience is so key. I promise you that it'll be so worth it in the end if you exercise patience and give it time. When you're doing that market research, number one, look for somebody who is an all-star host and use that filter feature. Number two, look for cars that have at least 20 to 30 trips to give you some good history. Number three, look at the frequency of their reviews. How often are they getting reviews, and what are people saying about their experience with that car? And the most important one, check out that booking calendar, especially in the last couple of days of a month. It's going to give you an idea as to what the average day rate is and the average number of days a vehicle gets booked. Those are two key pieces of information for our top secret formula that is not so much a secret anymore. And remember, the formula, rental income minus cost of doing business, gives you your profit. And you want to know what that profit is because it needs to be worth your time. So it's extremely important that you take time and you do this so that you have the best case scenario and you make the most amount of money. No matter what car you list, the time allocation is roughly going to be very similar. So why not pick the best car that makes the most amount of money? Until this day, it shocks me that people don't do the math because Turo is as simple as a mathematical equation. So once again, this is a quick overview of how to do market research and that formula to utilize. If you want to learn more, check out Powerhost.club, and a big thank you to today's sponsor, Fetch Truck. I'll talk to you guys down in the comment section below and see you next time.